Good morning, friends. Welcome to my channel. And from today, I am going to start a current affairs session, and I will try to cover the important news of the entire day that I feel that's going to be important for the various government exams that you all are preparing for, like SSC, banking, railways, IAS, PCS. Everything I will cover. I will try my best to give you the best of the current affairs, and I hope that you all will like it. So uh, let's start for today. So the first news of the day is about the country of Israel has got the new prime minister, and he is Naftali Bennett. So, do you know, guys, about Israel? As I hope that you have already heard about the recent clashes that were going on between Israel and the state of Palestine. And actually the clashes were going on between the Hamas in Gaza Strip, who were actually targeting the rockets on the Israeli populations, and these were the clashes that were going on in the recent month of May 2021. Actually, that was a 10 to 15 days of war, as I remember. So the Benjamin Netanyahu, who was the last prime minister of Israel, so the appointment of Naftali Bennett as the new prime minister ends the 12-year rule of Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, the next news of the day is about Serbian tennis player Novak Djokovic wins 19th Grand Slam. The star tennis player from Serbia, Novak Djokovic, has won the 19th Grand Slam in the French Open final. And do you know, guys, that he has become the first tennis player to win all the 4 majors twice. And in the French Open final, the player defeated 22 years old Stefanos Tsitsipas. Now, the third news is about the ICC Test Ranking 2021. So the cricket team of New Zealand has toppled India to become the #1 test team in the world. New Zealand team achieved the feat after beating England team by 1-0 in the 2-match test series. New Zealand has 123 points in test rankings, while India has 121 points. Next news is about the world's first wooden satellite that's going to be launched in 2021. So let's see, guys, which country is going to do this. So Arctic Astronautics, a company of Finland. Guys, Finland is a country, and the Arctic Astronautics is a company of this country, and this company is all set to send the world's first wooden satellite into the space by the end of 2021. The wooden satellite is a cube-shaped nano-satellite, and do you know what's the usage of this satellite is? This satellite will help scientists in monitoring how the world reacts to cold, heat, radiation, and the vacuum of space. The next news is about gold hallmarking that has been made mandatory by the government. The Indian government has made gold hallmarking mandatory from June 16, 2021. And according to the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, so guys, first of all, I want to tell you that here, as we can see in this news, that here it is talking about the Ministry of Consumer Affairs. So I have analyzed the papers, the banking exam papers, and in those papers there are various questions like the particular thing belongs to which ministry. So it's very important for all of you and for every one of us to remember which ministry is going to take that initiative. Like here, as the gold hallmarking has been made mandatory by the government, so the question may come in any of the banking exams, like which ministry has took that initiative. So learning very deeply about these things is very important. So here it is the Ministry of Consumer Affairs that's taking the initiative, and the process will take place in a very phased manner all over the country and will start with 256 districts. Yeah, and the move will help in developing India as a leading global gold market center. So that's a very good news for every one of us. Let's move on to the next news. Social media giant Twitter loses intermediary status. As we all know that the government has set up the new IT rules, and so here the news is about that. Twitter, which is a major social media giant, and it has lost immunity in India as the platform failed to comply with the new social media guidelines of the Indian government, and the Twitter will no longer be protected under Section 79 of the IT Act and will now be liable for all the content on its platform. Next news is about Satya Nadella becomes new chairman of Microsoft. So Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has become the new chairman of the company. Nadella has replaced John Thompson from the position. Guys, read it very carefully, listen it very carefully, because the question may come in exam that Satya Nadella has replaced which last CEO of the Microsoft company. So you need to take care of this. So the answer is John Thompson. He replaced John Thompson from his position of the CEO, and he has himself became the new CEO of Microsoft. Earlier in 2014, he had also replaced Steve Ballmer as the Chief Executive Officer of Microsoft. Now the next news is about China, and here let's look what is written here. China sends 3 astronauts to its new space station. The first 3-man crew was launched by China to its new space station. This was the country's first crewed mission in 5 years. And the 3 astronauts traveled in Shenzhou 12 spaceship, and it was also the third of the 11 missions required to complete the country's space station by 2021. Next news is about the pandemic. That is, the global COVID-19 deaths surpassed the 4 million mark, and that's a very devastating news for every one of us. That's a very painful news. According to Reuters study, the COVID-19 deaths all over the world have crossed the 4 million mark. As per the study, it took over a year to record 2 million deaths. However, the next 2 million were recorded in just 166 days. So it's a very painful thing to hear. Mexico, India, Brazil, the US and Russia accounted for about 50% of the deaths. Next news is about the world's 3rd largest diamond found in Botswana. So that's a very important news and an interesting one also. So it's telling about the world's 3rd largest diamond. Yeah, that's the favorite of girls. So it has been found in Botswana. The 3rd largest diamond in the world has been found in Botswana, South Africa. The place is also Africa's largest producer of diamonds. So the question may come in exam that because it is in current affairs, so it may come in exam as which place is the Africa's largest producer of diamonds. So the answer is very simple, Botswana. The newly found diamond weighs a little less than the 2nd largest diamond, Lesedi La Rona, and the largest Cullinan diamond. So let's come to the news from India. So the first news is about that PM Modi, our Honorable Prime Minister, has launched customized crash course program for COVID-19 frontline workers, and 1 lakh COVID warriors were going to be trained in 2 to 3 months. Next is about National Green Tribunal forms committee for rejuvenation of Ganga tributaries, Varuna and Asi rivers in Varanasi. So the question, friends, look at, that how the examiner is going to ask you the questions in exams. Like as we can see from the second news that the National Green Tribunal has shown the green flag for and it has formed a committee for the rejuvenation of Ganga's tributaries, Varuna and Asi rivers. So the question may come in exam that Varuna is the tributary of which river? Yeah, or Asi is the tributary of which river, and in which place, and at which place these tributaries flow. So the simple answer is Varanasi. So it's very simple to memorize all these things. You just need to understand very carefully. You just need to listen to the news very carefully. Next is about that studies shows chances of hospitalization reduced by 75 to 80% after vaccination, and that's a very good news, says member health Niti Aayog Dr. VK Paul. Next is about economy and corporate. The first one news says that the foreign exchange reserves surged by USD 3.074 billion to reach a record high of USD 608.081 billion in the week ended June 11. Next, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research ties up with Tata MD, a subsidiary of the Tata Group, to develop mobile testing laboratories to increase COVID-19 testing capacity in rural India. So guys, listen to what I'm going to say now very carefully, that in banking exams you will find very common questions like this, like the particular group has tied up with the which bank, or the particular company has tied up with which particular international organization or something else. So this news is also like that, like the question may come in exam that that Council of Scientific and Industrial Research has tied up with which company, with which subsidiary of the Tata Group, to develop mobile testing laboratories, so that to increase the COVID-19 testing capacity in rural India. So the simple answer will be Tata MD. Next is about the world news. That's India is participating in the UNEF-4 joint naval exercise in Gulf of Aden on June 18-19. Actually, friends, this word the name of the exercise is UNEF-4, and it is the naval exercise that is going between the European Union and India. European Union Naval Force Somalia is the European Union's counter-piracy mission off the coast of Somalia. India launches new trilateral with Italy and Japan for Indo-Pacific stability. And Zambia's founding president, Kenneth Kaunda, dies aged 97 in Lusaka. Next is about United Nations Refugee Agency says 3 million driven from homes in 2020 despite COVID crisis. And the next news is very important for the exams, friends. Antonio Guterres re-elected as United Nations Secretary General for second 5-year term that's going to begin from January 1, 2022. And so this will give Antonio Guterres the 10-year service in the United Nations. The next news is about Sustainable Gastronomy Day has been observed on 18 June. So the friends, these type of questions are very common in exams, like the examiner will ask you that on which particular date the National Vaccination Day falls, or on which particular day, like the World Malaria Day falls. So these questions are very important from the exam point of view. So you need to listen to the current affairs very carefully from whatever the sources you are following, or from wherever you are learning all these things. You need to memorize these things for a very long time, so that you can give answers correctly in your exams. So I repeat the news again. That's the Sustainable Gastronomy Day has been observed on 18th June. The next news now. So friends, here ends our the current affairs of the day. So here I have also an exercise for you to do by yourself. That's I have taken 5 questions for you to search by yourself and add something extra to your knowledge. So the first question is about the World Day to Combat Desertification and Drought 2021 is observed on which date? So you have to search it by yourself. Second is about which country recently passed anti-LGBT law ahead of 2022 elections. This one is also for you. Third one, which country recently announced the planned antiviral program for pandemics? Now search by yourself and write your answers in the comments section. Next is about the Affordable Care Act that was making up news recently is a statute of which country? So friends, last question is about India intends to achieve land degradation neutral status by which year? So I hope friends that whosoever is watching this session is going to write these answers, the answers to these questions in the comment section below. And I hope that you have all liked this session, as this was my first session. So I know that I have made mistakes somewhere, so I hope that you all will I will give my best from I will really improve myself, and trust me friends, I am covering whatever I am getting, whatever the important news I am getting in the entire day. I am covering everything, and this session is very much helpful for you. This session is going to help you a lot in your exams, and keep following me, subscribe to my channel, and like the video if you like, and you can also dislike my video if you have not liked, if you don't liked it, and I will try to improve myself. And thank you for listening me, thank you for watching this video, and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.